Okay, Mr. Stanley's going to answer some questions.
Okay.
Question number 1, I have them on my little notes. Were you scared about taking on my kids?
No, I wasn't. I was all in right away. Kids or no kids. Didn't really want more kids, but I wanted you, and they were part of you.
So it wasn't any like a fear, any kind of like a, did you ever think about it? I mean, you never mentioned anything.
I had no fear at all. I was all in just from that minute. Just whatever was part of your life was going to be part of mine.
Someone asked us about like logistics, like putting the money together when we first got together. They said, did you share joint accounts?
Yes, we did, and from like 2 weeks in, I think, she has paid all the bills ever since. I haven't touched a check.
Well, the reason is because it used to give him so much anxiety. I would see him get all of his bills out, and I would see him just just tense up like this, and I was like, well, I can handle that for you, and I'm the bankrupt one, but I'm really good at organizing, and I can pay with someone else's money. So,
and she can do that very well.
Yeah, so I'm really good at that. Did we have a prenup?
Absolutely not. Would never have considered it in a million years.
Yeah, I get it why people do. I really do understand it, but I feel like that's planning ahead for getting a divorce. I feel like you're literally writing up a piece of paper planning for you to break up. That's why I feel like that's the message out to the universe, but that's just me. I know why people do it. I get it. Do you buy cars for her kids?
We bought a nice Tundra for Brandon.
You sure did.
Yeah.
But FYI, he's not the only one who makes money.
She does too.
I'm not a freeloader. Okay, what about college? You're going to pay for college for my kids?
If they want to go.
Yeah. Brandon's not going to go to college. He's going to go right into sales, and he's going to go work for John as soon as he turns 18, which is next week, if you can believe it. Is the deed in your house in both names?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
We bought a house right away too, about a year, about 7 months after we got, or 5 months after we got
Yes.
married. Yeah,
Yes.
so of course, it's an equal property state in Arizona anyway, so you can't, I'd have to sign off. I'd have to approve it anyway, even if my name wasn't on the deed. Someone asked what made you overlook someone with kids, and I think what they meant was, why wasn't it a deal breaker? Or why didn't you worry about it?
Like I said before, because I fell in love with you and I wanted you no matter what that entailed. Didn't matter. I didn't even think about it. I loved your kids.
Back then when they were cute. They're teenagers now.
Yeah, I don't love them so much now.
You're right. Depends on the day. Okay, so one question was, you knew Karen for years before you even noticed me, and I talk about that in the book. Like, he didn't even see me until I had done all this work on myself. What changed, and what did you notice?
Well, I think what changed was I had to kind of get right myself. And living on my own for 6, 7, 8 months gave me a chance to work on myself, which I hadn't done for a long time. And I think that one day when I was healing, I saw you in a different light than I'd ever seen you the previous 6, 7 years or whatever.
What's the thing you remember about what changed?
Well, to me it looked like you lost a lot of weight, but I think you'd already lost it a long time before that.
That's what's so funny, is that I had lost weight. I had been really working on my fitness and my health. However, I had been that weight for a year before he noticed me that day.
That day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not the day you asked me out. That was just the day, it was in the summer before, 5 months before we ever went on a first date. And what he said was, if you lose any more weight, you're going to disappear. And he doesn't remember saying that, but you said that. Okay, so they said, I don't really know anything about your story. Someone just asked, were you already a dad?
Yes, I have 2 children, and they're older. They're in their 20s now.
Yeah.
And I've already been there, done that, what we were prepared to do together.
Yeah. You signed up to do it all again.
All again.
Mine were 9 and 11 when we got together. And so his son had already gone to college, and then his daughter was a senior in high school. So she was, working and had her own car, and she was busy senior in high school. You know how that goes. So they didn't live with us. We just saw him. All the time. Well, and then when his son came back to Arizona, because he went to college in California for a while. What drew you to Karen in the first place? Maybe on that day when I came over to the dealership on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, she just had this, and has this warm energy, kind energy. And I think everybody's attracted to someone else's energy, whether it's good, bad, positive, negative. And she's always had this bright light of like overwhelming, kind energy. Just, it's like a magnet for me.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
3.5 weeks out of the month. I'm really super positive. Do you think you and Karen would have gotten together had you met earlier? She said in high school. But
Probably not.
the problem with high school is
What? What?
he graduated from high school the year I was born.
Oh, jeez. You would have to say that. Said that on our first date, as a matter of fact.
I did.
But I don't think so. We might have met, but it wouldn't have happened then because she wasn't ready and I wasn't ready. She had to heal, I had to heal before the door would be open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to go through all of that stuff
Yeah.
to learn what we needed to learn to be able to come together, I think.
100%. Yeah.
How do you keep your marriage filled with so much love 6 years in?
Well, we had another defining moment on Sunday. We were listening to a book, and it was about this woman who got reacquainted with her mother. She was adopted just like I was, and didn't find out till she was 27 years old. And when she met her mother for the second time, she just asked her mother if she could sit on her lap. And Karen was in front of me, and I just started crying. She didn't know it, and because I never sat on my mother's lap, I never met my mother, and even my adopted mother, I never sat on her lap. And so it just, the overwhelming feelings were just, I was bawling, hiking. And then about 3 minutes later, she turned around, she was bawling too. And we both just hugged for, I don't know, it felt like a half hour, an hour. It's probably 5 minutes, and I fell in love with her even more at that moment. And she told me last night she fell more in love with me at that moment as well. And how can you not love your favorite human? That's why it's so good.
Well, and I think that we have a lot of, we have like a daily routine that we do together.
Yes. Get up every morning, 4:30. We do our morning rituals, goals, gratefuls. Then we go to the gym every day, and we do a lot of things. We do almost everything together.
Well, and then you've seen in my stories that he actually writes me a love note every morning, and he puts it on a Post-it note, and he puts it on my mirror. You've probably seen him. And, it's really the little things like that really make a difference, I think.
I just work on making her life as easy as possible with all those little things. Yeah.
Someone asked, how hard is it to blend a family, and what were the biggest surprises? What surprised you about us moving in with you?
Just actually how easy it was. It was easy, And because again, I'm always looking for the best part, the positive part, not the negative part, even though that bitch voice slips in here and there. But it was easy because when you care about someone so much, the other little things don't seem like anything if it's not 100% positive all the time.
Right, which it's not going to be perfect all the time. We've had, lots of rough patches, but...
Well, and I was alone, a lot. Even when I was in my previous life, I was still alone a lot. And, so having someone in my space that cared about me the way you guys did, there's no work there.
Well, and you used to always say, okay, so whenever I would be frustrated or something is, the kids are going crazy or there's a new hole in the wall, with Brandon literally put a hole in the wall because he was turning a corner and he didn't turn fast enough. He banged it. It wasn't even mad.
Or all the little red marks on all the baseboards in my house from his little red race car.
Oh my gosh.
Like bumper cars, but
yeah, he would just run the car like in purpose. He would just like run it all over the house and run it and bang into things, and it was just red marks all over the baseboards.
see, that's no big. You can fix the wall, you can fix the baseboards. That's nothing.
But you would always say, I would go back to.
Yeah, sitting by myself in my little house with water and sriracha in the fridge, a little laptop. I didn't even have a TV.
Little iPad.
iPad, that's right. 4 or 5 pieces of furniture, sitting in my underwear, and going to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock. That was a lot of fun by myself. Get up early and start it all over again.
So he would he would constantly go, okay, well, even with her shit show at my house, he'd be like, well, I mean, what's the alternative? I could be just sitting here by myself watching Netflix on my iPad. And so he used to say that all the time. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we got them all.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just one more. I'd just like to know what his relationship with your kids is like. So you could tell, I don't know, tell anything. I mean, what would you say? I mean, I would say it depends on the day and the season. Right now we're in the teenager season, so it's totally different than when we started. And he just said yesterday, gosh, I do miss it when they were younger, because it's fun and it's different when they're teenagers. They're in and out and doing all kinds of stuff. But
Well, kids don't always say or tell you how they really feel when they're younger. And, a while back before my birthday last July, I was telling Karen that, Brandon never seems to appreciate all the things that we do for him. And that's a selfish thought, obviously, because I was just concerned about me, nobody else. And then, like 2 weeks later, we're at my birthday with all the kids, and he gave me this card, and basically it just said, I appreciate everything you do. I love you. Thank you for changing our life. And I'm surprised I could say that again without crying, but there it was, bam. So, it doesn't matter how I feel. It just matters about just continuing to give and serve for them, not for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest challenge. I think that's the biggest challenge with all parents, but especially the step parent who came in and he gives us so much and he does so much for us. It's hard because kids aren't just going to say, hey, I just want to say thank you, for our beautiful home and our beautiful life and making mom happy. They don't say that. And I know they will eventually, but everyone, says once they get in their 20s or whatever, they realize really what's happened, in their childhood.
But the biggest lesson I've learned in the last few years, last 6 months, a year maybe, is not to do things for others for yourself, to do things for others for them.